Sagaidām cilvēks no Brazīlijas ir braucis.
Okay, my mic is on. Thank you, Valdis. Thank you. Ciao, Riga. Good morning. I feel so at home because everybody says ciao here. I'm half Brazilian, half Italian. So, first of all, I cannot stand there. I must walk using my hands. Otherwise, I get mute. It's a great pleasure to be ending this fantastic year here. It's my first time in Lithuania. We have a quite good history between Brazil and Lithuania and immigration. So we heard a lot of good stories about the country there in Brazil. And this year was a very special year for me. As Valdis said, I work with smart cities. I'm a senior consultant for governments in smart cities. And I decided to live the world experience of smart cities this year. So I started the 10th of February. I was just double checking my schedule this year in Mumbai, in India. And after 10 months, I've done 29 countries, 45 smart city projects visit. And this is the 34th speech I'm exchanging with people talking about smart cities. And what makes me really, really happy that it's happening. Smart city is happening. The whole world is moving to a direction that we are making our lives better. And that is the main objective. As I said, I'm half Brazilian, half Italian. Now I live in Italy. We decided to move to Italy after 8 years in China, exactly to be in the middle point and to be traveling the world in the easiest way, trying to reduce the cost for the family. But I decided also to put my whole family in the context of smart cities. We live in a very small city, just 4,000 inhabitants. When I met my wife first time, I was living in Beijing, 9 million people in one district in Beijing. We went to her hometown, 4,000 inhabitants in Italy. And this year, I told her, this would be the year of transformation. We cannot just be passive talking or discussing smart cities, but we must be doing something. So I was talking so much about this that I convinced her to become a politician. Now she's one of our councils, our aldermen in our cities, and she's responsible for the smart city project there. And I try to be at home as more as I can, but when I'm not, I stream what I'm doing to them. So today, Casper, thank you very much for your speech. I don't know where you are now, but I put in my son also to watch the first video, Casper speaking. And the thing that my son is just 6 years old, and I'm trying also to develop these feelings of being entrepreneur and start thinking out of the box. And when Casper finished talking, the thing that my kid was now chatting with me, with my wife, was that, now it's raining in Italy, so it's daddy's fault because he's Brazilian. Thank you for the example of the butterfly in Amazon raining in Italy. It's the thing that he really kept for him. Before talking about the future and before talking about what we are doing now and forecasting for the future, I would like to bring you in a very quick turn around our own history. If you think about when everything started, Big Bang, we are talking about 13.8 billion years. Our planet is quite new, it's just 4.5 billion years, and it took us 1 billion years to start having the first kind of life in Earth. And then more 3.3 billion years to evolve to the condition we are now. Human beings, intelligent, Homo sapiens. So we are here now in Earth, just 0.005% of the Earth age. A very beautiful and common word now is disruption. Everybody talk about disruption, but if you think about the whole history, the biggest disruption we ever had was us. We are changing the whole perspective of how to live and how to plan the future in our planet. And if you take this evolution along the time, the last 100 years were the most important ones. We put it in Earth, almost 6 billion people in 100 years. It means that every day, and it's a trend, it's still keeping like this, every day we had 154,000 people being born. And of course, if you are changing the matrix of growth, and if you don't change our matrix of thinking how to urbanize, how to live in cities, of course we are not going to succeed. We already have a lot of problems based in these last 100 years growth, and these problems will just become worse. This April, I was traveling from Venice to Australia for a speech, and I had a very long trip, like Venice, Abu Dhabi, Kuala Lumpur, Melbourne. When I was in Kuala Lumpur, almost 28 hours after I left home, I was trying to not work. I was just checking Facebook in the VIP lounge in the airport, waiting for my flight. And then I saw a video that really caught my attention. You know, as I work with smart cities, everything that has the name smart, the tag smart, comes to me. Facebook already sent to me. And when I saw this, the first impression I had, wow, they have developed advice to do barbecue wherever you are. Imagine how food sick I was at that time. I mean, I really could not even see more, you know, snacks from the VIP lounge or food from the airplane. I saw my first impression, a piece of bacon, something connected to the bacon, and then we were grilling bacon wherever we were. And the video was this one.
We're looking at Oscar, the first human modular prototype that is able to live in various setups. Now what's going to happen is that I'm going to connect the brain to the heart module to activate the blood circulation. Now, the lung is going to start breathing. You can see both organs are now collaborating. I can add a kidney module. And if I add a limb module, I start actuating the organism to move. Now
I was not hungry anymore at this time,
which is 37 degrees.
But very curious.
If I add another limb, Oscar will recognize it and beneficiate from new possibilities.
Wow. After seeing this video became viral in April. Who saw this before? So in Facebook it became very, very viral, like millions of views. I went to this website and I started checking what kind of project was this. So the website was really well done, showing how they were 3D printing these organs and the whole context of the project. It took 3 months for them to release that actually this was a promotion of a documentary in the Netherlands that they are doing now. And in their idea, we still have 20 to 30 years to get this technology on. It's not a matter when. It's a matter, it will be a reality. And how are you going to do with all the problems we have now that we saw our growth with the perspective of living 200 or 300 years? Now we are living just 80 years, we have all these problems. Imagine 200 or 300 years, and it will come, and it will come very fast. With all the development we have now in medicine, it will come very fast. So, we have a lot of numbers regarding the problem of urbanization in Earth. The most common one in smart city events are, according to the United Nations, 70% of the world will become urban by 2030. But these numbers are quite vague. I brought here some very specific numbers to understand why we have problems and how to solve this problem will make us, a better future. First of all, traffic. Traffic is a problem everywhere, even in small cities. And the problem of traffic is not just traffic itself, but all the impact it has in our economy and in our lives. So, in the United States alone, we think that we can save around $121 billion just if you address the problem of mobility. And this mobility is being already a reality, and with the new statistics, we are estimating that for the next 4 years, it was last year, we are going to have 307,000 people migrating every day. So migration will be even a bigger problem for big cities that are attracting people, and also for small cities that are losing people. In Europe, we already have the same concept that we have in the States in some cities of ghost cities. Cities that are almost desert. If you want a very fancy house, traditional old house in Sicily, go there. A lot of municipalities are giving for free. Just need to renew it and keep paying the taxes. Because the cities are desert. They are ghost cities. If you take these numbers even smaller to understand, Lagos last year received per hour 85 people. Means that 85 people came from whatever, out or inside the country, to live in Lagos. Same numbers for Delhi, 79, and for London, 9 people. Even in Europe, it's happening, this great migration. And these people, beside the problem of refugees, these people are not migrating just because they are starving. They are migrating to have a better life, try to look for opportunities. But as more we are going digital, as more globalized we are, as more internet-oriented we are, opportunities are not anymore geographically. So there are ways to change this. Numbers about the states I already said, and thinking about states, if you just address this problem, the money to do this problem, it's already in the savings that we are going to get. Several industries will get really disrupted if we start saving this problem. I'm not going to talk here about, for example, self-driving or driverless cars, but you can imagine the impact of traffic and impact of insurance in our lives. So all these new technologies that we call smart cities are coming and will really change our lives, not just because it's fancy or it's new. It's because the problems are real. Mobility maybe doesn't disturb us so much as health. Health can kill you. This year, more than 50 million people already died, and we are not only talking about the normal death, we are talking also about the new epidemics. And these epidemics, these pandemics are getting faster and faster. 15 years ago, we had the Asian flu, the bird flu in Asia. 5 years ago, we had the Ebola in Africa. Last year, we had Zika virus in Brazil. And as I said, I'm traveling the whole world. Imagine if I had caught a disease in the beginning of my trip in February. I could have already had passed this disease for around 29 countries. According to the Lancet, 95% of the world population has at least one kind of disease. So we cannot save this problem in using the same matrix that we have been using for the last 100 years. And it becomes even worse if you think about our future, if you see the numbers of education. According to UNESCO, last year, 57 million children were out of school. Being out of school doesn't mean that they are just not going to school, or there is no school for them to go. If you come again to my country, Brazil, we have some areas in Amazonia that one kid is almost 1 kilometer far from the second kid. We cannot build, probably don't have political will in the world to build as many schools, as much schools as it's necessary. We don't have money probably oriented to this. And just this year, we are supposed to be building more 100,000 schools to solve at least 10% of this problem. We are not doing this. But again, building schools, sending kids to school is just a traditional way to solve the problem of education. Is it the best way? We have now a lot of disruptive technologies emerging in the world that's changing this reality. Just to give you an example, Finland, last year Finland voted a law that from next year on, 2018, and this is some governments must be really fast, disruptive as technology is now, they will not teach anymore compulsory calligraphy in school. Kids, when they go to school, they will learn how to read and to write typing. If parents want, calligraphy will be optional. They can learn. My kid, as I said, 6 years old, he already type faster than he can write. And Italy is years far behind whatever other country in the world regarding smart cities and regarding technology. We just got a letter from the school that the kids are not allowed to bring any digital device to school. And I tell them, look, how are we going to have competitive kids in the future, a competitive country in the future, if we are just trying to avoid, but kids will be playing Facebook or whatever. Bring our reality inside their reality. If we had a school, or if you had homework gamified for my kid, he would be studying 24 hours a day. I am sure that's also the reality for you. I have another kid that's 2 years and a half. She goes to TV and she started doing this. And she looks in our face like, why technology is not working? For her, there is no sense of wires, there is no sense of keyboard. She wants gesture communication, as she has with the tablet. This is the new generation. And I'm going to show you that we are not doing smart cities. We are getting pushed to do this because our society is getting smarter. So, good news are that, yeah, we have already started doing something. When we come to this definition, traditional definition of smart cities, in the books, we learned that it comes from more or less from the 80s in the States when they started to using technology and only technology to address some problems. At that time, technology was the main driver and also the main objective or result of doing smart cities. At that time, we had one city, one company, and big companies like Cisco, IBM, Verizon became really important in this field. But it was 40 years ago. So, I'm doing now a new doctorate in the Netherlands, exactly studying smart cities, and I have to do a smart city definition. The first sentence is the sentence that Valdis told us. A smart city is a place that we really feel that everything is conspiring to make our lives better. It's a very romantic definition. I love it. It will be my next year. My advisor hates it, and I have to really write a formal definition for my thesis. I have already researched and put it together 150 definitions. And I come to 5 elements that my definition should have. First of all, it is, it was, and it will be more and more about technology. Technology is definitely the main driver. We are talking about, and when you talk about technology, a lot of things is happening now. Everybody knows that we are living or starting this new era called the 4th Industrial Revolution. That's technology. But the third one was also technology. What's the difference? Speed, velocity. Everything is changing very, very fast. Who has a 3D printer at home? I don't. Nobody. But when I was in February in MIT, I visited the 4D printing department. They are doing 4D printing. Who has already heard about 4D printing? The fourth dimension is time. Products will be adapting itself or themselves along the use. Imagine a cloth that I use, that when I'm here, the temperature is 30 degrees, all the fibers are relaxed. When I go outside, the fibers will get compressed to make it warmer my suit. This is already a reality, and we still don't have 3D printing. So technology will be part of this. And we're talking about ICT, information communication technology. When it started, it was just IT. And we are also talking about IoE, Internet of Everything. It's even a stage up comparing to Internet of the Things. Now we are talking about people inside these big network, and also analytics. So all this data that also Casper was talking about will be analyzed and processed in order to solve problems. Second, all and any smart city projects that are succeeding now in the world, they are citizen-centered. And this is a big change. Before, again, we were researching technology. Now, technology are coming to address a problem that is related to citizens, to people. And of course, the main result we want, it's a better life. You can say whatever you want. You can say that these machines will take our jobs. Maybe we work a lot and it's not necessary, or we are used to work 8 hours a day, but why? In the future, we are going to have these robots substituting, that has already happened, technologies changing or substituting manpower since the second revolution, industrial revolution. Doesn't mean that we have less jobs now. We have even more jobs now. It's just a way that we must change our mindset. Smart city is not a trend. Smart city is a mindset change. And then, all these perspective should be considered under two new concepts. First, new economies. We are talking about creative economy. We are talking about sharing economy. We are talking about circular economy. And when it comes to our lives, we are talking about also co-creation. And that's why all these concepts I'm bringing to you, I call it City SmartUp. That is to revise all the concepts of smart cities under the new fundamentals, new concepts of startups. You must think your city as a startup. And then, of course, co-creation, everything is related to this. And last and not the least, it must bring to cities resilience. It means that it should work to big cities as metropolis, but it also should work for small cities. And it's really, really starting happening. In India, for example, this urbanization problem, India is just 39% urban. We are forecasting 300 million people migrating from countryside to big cities in India for the next 30 years. It's the place I see that smart village concept is most developed. We must avoid this migration. We must give resilience to these small cities as well. It's even not talking about attracting talents. We're talking about not losing your citizens. But again, that's the question. It's very clear we are using technology. Also very clear we are facing a lot of problems that is scaling, become worse in the future. But really, why do you need smart cities? And the answer I already gave to you. It's not us to be doing smart cities. It's the society pushing for a smarter environment. Because society, or this new society, is getting smarter. We had this maximum saying from the Greeks and the Romans that human beings are intelligent and people are stupid. So you see the circus and bread and all the manipulation we had in the past, and we still have in our current time. This is changing because of this.
If you work in marketing, you better start upping your game.
Because you haven't seen anything like us yet.
In just 10 years from now, we'll be buying and influencing buying in ways that will confound you. We won't just watch your ads, we'll expect smart, tailored content based on our social graphs.
Tailored for me.
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 And me.
We want to interact with it as we watch it, not just with touch,
But with voice, with gesture.
With intent. You better embed everything that is featured with additional information, social APIs, and e-commerce functionality.
And we mean everything.
everything.
Everything. The car,
The skirt.
the hotel,
The app.
Because we expect to double tap on anything to get more information.
Don't worry. You'll offset the cost by on-selling any leads to those data aggregator type companies.
We'll spread it through our networks and co-create with you.
and when we do buy, there are normally more of us than there are of you. We can change your business in one trade, as long as the deal is on.
Augmented reality
Will be the new reality.
AR apps will almost function like special skills to help us navigate reality more effectively.
You wait and see what the iPhone of 2021 looks like. The clue is in the name.
And you better get used to paying us.
Our browsing, influencing and purchasing data.
We'll make some of us pretty rich.
But don't overstep the mark, otherwise we'll block you.
Mass blocks kill brands overnight and keep you up all night. So if you work in marketing,
You better start upping your game.
because you haven't seen anything like us yet.
I got excited every single time I see this video, I get excited. This was done 5 years ago to promote the what's so-called millennials generation in England. And this is the video that I show now when I'm in mayor's conclave. I show to the mayors, look, those are our new citizens. 5 years ago, and it's still so updated, this video. There is just one thing wrong in this video that they were not even forecasting at that time. Do you know how iPhone 2021 will look like? Will look like nothing. In this year, we had the mobile fair. It's the biggest fair in the world for telecommunications. We had 101,000 people in Barcelona in February. And the disruptive news or forecast was that the industry is forecasting for 3 to 5 years, we are not going to be using any more smartphones. Can you imagine your life without a smartphone following you? We are going to this IoT generation, and we are being connected through sensors. Us and everything. And that's why you call IOE, Internet of Everything. But also, what was the app, the most popular app 10 years ago? Who knows? No app. iPhone was developed, it was launched in 2007. You see, the big disruption now is not technology, it's speed. It's time the things are changing. And we are talking about millennials. By 2020, they will be 50, almost 50, 49.5 to be very precise, the working force population in the world. Almost 50%, almost half of the working force will be millennials. And we are talking about this generation that is already going over. If you talk about generation of my kids, called Alpha generation, can you imagine the future? It's not us that are influencing on it. It's the society pushing or evolving to this direction. So, doesn't matter what urban problems we have, if you focus the solutions in people, we are going to have smart solutions. Smart solutions doesn't mean, again, only technology. I was somewhere 2 months ago, speaking, and I got a fantastic, I watched a fantastic speech from a girl. She is the director or the CEO of an NGO called No Waste Academy from Japan. They had a problem 20 years ago. Japan was ruling faster, all the environmental rules there. And cities were not supposed to be burning garbage anymore. And it was an evolution of technology. So in 2000, they were supposed to have incinerators in the city with a very specific specifications. They didn't have money to do this. And whatever, it's your village, it's your money. The central government was not helping anyhow. So what they started to develop there was this sense of no waste. Why we need to have a big incinerator because we produce a lot of waste. Maybe if you produce less waste, maybe if you start recycling, not only recycling but reusing it. And they started this in 2000. They are big success. Nowadays they got to reduce in 89% the garbage there. They at home they segregate 42 different kinds of garbage. So she said it's a change of mindset. Now when I go to the supermarket, I know that if I have to buy a ready coffee, if I buy a coffee in a plastic package, I have the cap that's plastic. Then I have the first division there, the cover, that's aluminum, so it's already two segregation. Then I have the label, that's paper, I must take it out. So in the end, if you buy a coffee like this, you must segregate maybe 6 to 7 different garbage. So what she's doing, she's just buying in aluminum cans because she just has one material. Maybe if you produce less garbage, we have less problems. And this, I'm coming now to the concept of city SmartUp. And before our colleagues were also saying that the planning now must be much faster and implementation must be faster. And it's exactly what's happening. Again, back to the garbage. Copenhagen has a very nice project. They had 20 years ago, 15 years ago, a project to produce energy from the garbage. That's okay. And they run a PPP to do public-private partnerships to do this. Forecasting that the population was growing and also the garbage production was growing. So it was done an investment for 25 years, return. And what's happening what happened in the last 10 years is that population grew as it was planned, but garbage reduced by half because people were more aware. So what's happening now, they basically from the city, they don't have any more enough raw material to produce the power. So the cities, the surrounding cities are not treating their garbage anymore. They are just selling to the power production. Just selling raw material. It's good from one point, but it's also a lesson for us that we should plan short term now, because all these technologies are coming over and over, disrupting the old technologies. So it comes the concept of city SmartUp. Basically, we have developed the 4 tips or tools to frame the first ideas of doing smart cities. And even that's the good thing about smart cities and use of technology. We really can bypass very fast the traditional stages of growth that we had in traditional cities. So if you have done anything till now, fantastic. You are not from zero. You already jumped to another technology that will solve a lot of problems that before the technologies were not solving. You see, who had already heard about Hyperloop? Hyperloop, it's a project from Elon Musk. The idea is to transport people inside capsules. Remember in the 80s in the States, we had this mail inside the buildings that you put the letter, whatever, message inside the capsule, and there was a system, vacuum system, and it was going very fast. They want to do the same thing with people now, and as crazy as it looks like, they already got a contract. So this was 4 years ago idea of Elon Musk, come with new solutions for mass transportation. These guys from Hyperloop put it this solution. He said, okay, he put it together some friends in Silicon Valley. Well, let's do like Casper playing poker. Let's put some money on it. $300 million they put on it. They are already piloting the project in the desert of California, and they have already a contract with Abu Dhabi, Dubai. They would do Abu Dhabi, Dubai from 8 to 12 minutes. And I was exactly there in Dubai speaking in Middle East Rail, sharing the stage with the president of Hyperloop when they got the deal. And the disruptive thing was not only the technology, was the cost. It will cost around 60%. It means that's 40% cheaper than a traditional fast train system. Countries that has no fast train, even probably in the future, will even not invest in fast train because we are going to have other technologies. So, first tool, sharpen your pitch. Remember, citizens, people, they don't want a new city. They just want a better city. The DNA of your city, the history, the tradition, it's really important. This is exactly what makes people make people feel part of a community. Use all of these competitive advantages as a city to develop your concept of smart city. Second, keep it simple. Sometimes I come invited by governments to see the project, and they have like a 1,000 pages report from a very brandy consultants company with a master plan for $300 billion. First question is, do you have the money to do this? Oh, no, of course not. Why are you planning 100 years, 100 trillions of dollars if you don't have it? Solutions today are much cheaper and much, much simpler than... We had a case in Brazil of it really comes to almost ridiculous to show how sometimes we are blind as entrepreneur, and solutions are already there. A bus driver, very low educated, he decided, he was always late as always, and people were complaining, so he decided by himself to write in a paper his telephone number, and he gave to everybody that was coming at certain time, because it was a rushing time, very recurrent guest client. So this is my number. I'm doing a WhatsApp group, so you can communicate. I cannot because I'm driving, but you can communicate telling if I'm late or I'm not late. Come on, the solution came from a driver, and the solution is already there. Maybe the entrepreneur is thinking about, no, let's hire people to develop an app. It's ready. Of course, you can make it better, but it's ready. Solutions are there. Third one, and very important, and our minister started exactly saying that, well, more important than the budget is the will. And it's exactly this. Don't ask how big is the budget of your city to do smart cities. Ask what you can give back. And now with this creative and sharing economy, a lot of new disruptive companies are willing to cooperate. I was following the project in Rio de Janeiro. We got the investment, we invested to have the state-of-the-art IBM command center in Rio de Janeiro for the Olympics and for the World Cup. When they switched it on, imagine 200 screens, 33 different agencies inside controlling the city. When it comes to traffic, Rio de Janeiro had just 800 cameras. I have more than 800 cameras in my house. And that was the question of IBM. Are you joking? You want to control your traffic with 800 cameras? Just to give you an idea, London is the best CCTV city network we have in Europe, 16,000 cameras. Moscow, the biggest one in the world, Moscow, it's a real big brother, citizens big brother, 140,000 cameras. 8 cameras is a joke. Rio did the calculation very fast. Just to double to 1,600, it's still nothing. They would spend more than they have spent to do the whole command center. How to solve the problem? Have no money? Politically speaking, I have already invested what I have to invest. Citizens need, because when you come to smart city, in places that we still have problems with violence, health, education, people start asking, why are you spending my money on this and not on that? The CDO, Chief Digital Officer of Rio de Janeiro, took a plane, went to San Francisco, talked to a company called Waze. Waze was just going from Israel to Silicon Valley to start working on the IPO. Do you have Waze here? Do you use Waze, the GPS that you drive and you exchange some information? It's co-creation. You give ideas, you give information, real-time information, and you can also help with the map. From night to day, in a win-win situation, I don't pay anything, you don't pay anything. Rio de Janeiro jumped from 800 cameras to 1.2 million users sending information to command center what was happening in the traffic. In the same trip I did to Australia, I stopped back in Malaysia, also another speech. The mayor of Selangor was very, very was not Selangor, anyway, a secondary city in Malaysia. He was very, very happy because they had bought the Waze solution for traffic management. Waze piloting Rio de Janeiro, and it became at least a service platform for them. So what can, as I said, as I saw today, that you are really taking a very important position in among the Baltic countries. What are your uniqueness that you can offer to partners to come here to cooperate with you, to co-create with you in smart city projects? I see a lot of possibilities here. And the last one, we must change a little bit the approach. We are doing smart cities through PPPs. Forget it. If there is someone from the government here who is paying for smart cities, are not public money. It's private money. The market is there. They want to come. They want to test. It's just a way how to attract investment for this. And a very good tool for this is PPP, public-private partnership. What now we are proposing is to add another people, public-private people partnership. And it's not romantic, it's for true. Let me show you the case we are doing now in Italy. Disruptive company from Silicon Valley. I'm advising this company, artificial intelligence for video surveillance. They are already testing their system in the prisons in the States. If there is a fighting, the system automatically recognizes a fight and trigger the alarm. And in the future, they want to do more or less like Minority Report. They will be predicting crimes. LG is already testing a similar artificial intelligence in Korea that they cross information between camera, historical data, and social networking, and they are starting to predict some crimes. Before the crime happens, there is a very big probability of happening. So I told these guys, look guys, they are a startup. They just got the first round of investment, $3 million. Said, we need a strong product to disrupt the market. And if you focus in big cities, it's okay, but how many megalopolis we have in the world? 20? 30? How many small cities we have in the world? 99% of the world. So let's focus in smart village. So what we did was, we brought to my city in Italy 4,000, again, very easy because wife is there with the power of the pen. They offered 10 cameras to the city to start the project in the city, to start having the video surveillance. And now, so the camera is there, you can frame the area that the camera will be, or the computer will be analyzing the images. So what we are doing, we did the city one with just 10 cameras, and now we are inviting each one of the citizens to buy at least one camera to put in their house. They get a better price than buying normally. They will have the camera installed by the company. They will have their perimeter monitored by the artificial intelligence, and they will donate the public image to City Hall as open data. All the image that will arrive in City Hall will be blurred in the private image because of liabilities, but the public image is there. And we are going to be jumping from 10 cameras, from no cameras to 10 cameras now in February. It will be installed, and then from 10 cameras to how many cameras we want, because it's a domino effect. If I put it in my house and I'm covering my perimeter and this part of the road, my neighbor doesn't want to get naked on it, he will also put it. So we are doing a crowdfunding smart city project, and we are not asking money for the citizens because they are already taxpayers. What we are doing is that we are asking them to co-create with us the smart cities. Okay, already said. So, my opinion is that smart cities can be a real laboratory to develop, test, and refine the new models of a smarter and really, really, I believe and hope, healthier and happier life. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, we have some 15 minutes for questions. Lūdzu, jautājumu droši. Jā.
Hi. Do you hear me?
Just a second. Es gribēju jautāt, varbūt ir vēl kāds, kas vēl šodien nav uzdevis jautājumu, varētu kādu jautājumu uzdot. Droši paceliet roku, lūdzu. Ir kāds, jā? Lūk, tajā pusē. Un tad pēc tam jūs, lūdzu. Arī piesakāmies, kas jūs esat, lai saprotam, kur vējš pūš.
Sveiki. Yep. Dmitry Kostoyanskis, Koton, Liepāja, attīstības directors. Good afternoon. I'm Dmitry Kostoyansky from Liepāja, a small city here in Latvia, 200 kilometers away from Riga. And in 20 years, our population decreased for half. Help us. Any practical ideas, please?
Great, it will be a pleasure. But again, I think when you talk about smart city, you talk about resilience. And if this is your problem, we must address the problem. But I assure you, there is much more money around to do projects than good projects, or at least well-framed projects to get investment. I was invited 6 months ago to be part of advisory board of investment group from the States. These guys are 10 companies. They put together a group to invest in smart cities for our investment funds that were used to do real estate. So they are really focusing in infrastructure. Then we have Cisco, local Cisco there in Pittsburgh, and Michael Baker's is a big contractor. And then they gave me $1 billion to invest in smart cities, and we are still short of projects. But it's not donation, it's not lost money, it's really projects that must have economical sustainability. That's why I'm very happy to be speaking for entrepreneurs. We must really pair with cities and with the officials in order to, because when you talk about smart city, there are a lot of, these romantic views of, ecological sustainability, social sustainability, yes, but it must be also economic sustainability. The word, the last example I give you, and for me it's really, this is the glass with half water, right? Can be good, can be bad. The world is really, really digitally included. I saw a project of Cambridge University in Tanzania that businessmen there, they have a big problem, shortage of energy, power supply. Just few hours a day they have energy in the city. What the business are doing now, they are putting solar panels, not to put energy in their business, to sell recharge for cell phones. People need to recharge the cell phone to get connected. There is no energy at home. They go in a shop, they buy the recharge in Tanzania. Then I went with Boston Municipality to Rio de Janeiro to see a project in favelas, in the slums of Rio. Same thing. I mean, very poor. Government has not arrived there yet. No education inside the slum. No hospitals. But everybody was connected. And then the last one, United States. Richest country in the world. They did a very nice project in New York called Links New York. Then look for it, PPP for free for New York. The business model is they have these tokens of internet. They sell advertisement in the token, and it's a public space. They replaced all the old booth by this, but they offer to the city free internet and free calls. When I was there in the launch in February, it was reaching 250 megabits per second. Now it's 1 giga. 1 month ago, they had a crash in the system. Why? Homeless people, and if you're homeless in the States, you can find a cell phone in the garbage. Homeless people were using this fast internet to watch pornography and to do bad things during the day. It's bad, but it's also good. They are, all these three examples, they are socially excluded and totally digital included. We know where they are, what they are doing, what probably they want, and we have a way to communicate with them. I see a better word like this. Please.
But just a question, there's no solution how to increase the population of the city, right?
Well, I think now this was one of a big case from San Francisco. How to keep and attract these new creative. We are talking here about startups and about entrepreneurs. Attracting people is something really complicated, of course, because there are several reasons that make or it stimulates people to move. And also, there is this deep feeling of being part of a community that we must keep. If you attract people from Latvia to Riga, you generate this problem also in other cities. So the best thing would be to attract people from outside. And for this, you need to create a very exciting and dynamic ecosystem. And of course, keeping in mind that you are in the Baltic area, so probably your neighbors will be there.
Yeah, let's go for Lithuanians.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Grishanis. I'm a mechanical engineer. Question is, in this state of technology, when people are getting these new devices and learning less and less about them because they're so easy to use, do you think actually it's a good idea to create this state of surveillance and this big brother when people do not actually know how to use their applications, how they're going to use, when sharing all this data about their personal lives, images, and all this big data being gathered? Do you actually think it's a good idea to create a state of surveillance for people who actually do not know how to use technology?
Great question. Surveillance or public safety, there will be always a trade-off. When we talk about public safety, we talk about what are we willing to give in our privacy to get more protected. And of course, there is a very important argument if you go in a place like the States or in Brazil that you have a very high criminality. So yes, I mean, I don't have privacy, but nobody kills me. Harder than in a small city in countryside of Europe, that criminality is not an issue, and even terrorism, because terrorism in big cities in Europe is a big issue, and people are willing to give privacy for this. But what I see is that this is a very complicated trade-off. As citizens, what I need? I need more privacy, or I want more privacy, or I want more safety. So yeah, but this will be always a big issue. What we are trying to do there, because there will be a lot of liabilities behind this as well. I mean, legal issues, is trying to really to take just the public image from the private, open data, let's call it.
So choose the right neighbors then, just to make sure that you are not surveilled. Yeah.
Okay, hi, my name is Dmitry too. I'm representing the IT startup and so on. That's one of my themes too. You talked about mindset. If we are diving into the smart city, so we have kind of changed ourselves. We started 7 years ago with stereo 3D, you know, then we switched to augmented, to virtual reality, and I have more a philosophical question. So if you want to live in that city, in some way we have to become like computers because they have this algorithm system, we have this spontaneous stuff. So how you predict the development of society? Wouldn't be dumber maybe in some way or smarter? That's the question. Thank you.
Great, also great question. This is a very recurrent question everywhere. People are very worried about how digital we are becoming and how virtual we are becoming. I have no answer directly for this, but I can do a comparison. If you see, I left Brazil in 1998 to do a master's in globalization strategy in Germany. At that time, globalization was really a topic, and the world got really globalized. And everybody was worried at that time that we were going to lose our roots, our traditions, by going global. What's happening now, it's the other way around. People are becoming more local. People are paying attention a lot in their roots. This new generation that got already the boundaries out of geographic limits, they are much more local than global in this sense. Also the world, the political world is becoming more and more close, not expanding, but closing. Trump, Brexit, and you name it. Italy now rising, losing. So what I think is that we didn't get yet the peak, I mean the top, but then I think, as always happened, we have a cycle of rehumanization, and I think we are never going to lose the contact. However, digital technologies will help us probably to get more in contact in a virtual way. See what was shown there also by Casper, that how the guy that burned himself in Morocco, he influenced the whole region, but he influenced also because the whole region is connected. Everybody can see what's happening online. Everybody knows what's happening. So I think that this technology is bringing us more consciousness of how strong we are as people and how influential we can be just one person, you know. So yeah, I try to see it in a positive way. Again, I have 2 kids that are growing digital, but I think that we will always be human beings. So touch, contact, and I saw another day they launched the robot, I don't know, artificial intelligence for sex. So that was a Forbes magazine, I think. It was a woman with a robot laying down in the bed, and, you know, machines also to make love. Come on, guys. I mean, I think there will be a limit, you know. But machines, I mean, it's predicted in 2030, everybody will have at least one robot at home helping us to do whatever we need to be done.
All right, whatever is needed should be done.
Yeah.
Okay, Renato, I'm sorry. I just called the call from airport. Your
exactly. They are waiting for me in London.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Piedodiet, vienkārši, šajā gadījumā lidmašīna negaida. Vēlreiz paldies. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Riga. Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.